You fear heights because your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do. When you stand at the edge of something tall, nothing has actually happened yet. You're safe, you're standing still, and yet your body reacts as if danger is already real. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tighten, your thoughts narrow. This reaction isn't about falling, it's about control. Psychologists call the fear of heights acrophobia, but that word doesn't explain much on its own. To understand it, you have to look at how the human brain interprets risk. Your brain evolved long before buildings, balconies, or observation decks. For most of human history, height meant one thing: death. If you misstep, there was no railing, no safety glass, no second chances. So the brain learned to treat vertical distance as a serious threat, even when logic says otherwise. One of the key systems involved here is the vestibular system, the part of the inner ear that helps you balance and understand where your body is in space. At great heights, visual information and balance signals can conflict. Your eyes see open space, your body feels still. The brain struggles to reconcile the two. That confusion alone is enough to trigger anxiety. But fear of heights goes deeper than biology. It's also psychological. Studies show that people who fear heights tend to overestimate the distance to the ground. Not by a little, sometimes by 2 or 3 times the actual height. The mind stretches the drop. This isn't a flaw. It's a survival bias. The brain would rather exaggerate danger than underestimate it. In psychology, this is known as threat amplification, when the mind magnifies potential harm to keep you cautious. From a philosophical perspective, this fear reveals something important about human consciousness. We are uniquely aware of our own fragility. Animals fall without imagining the outcome. Humans fall in their minds before they ever move. When you look down from a height, you don't just see distance, you imagine consequences, pain, loss, finality. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard described this kind of fear as dread. Not fear of something happening, but fear of the possibility that it could. He called it the dizziness of freedom. Standing at a height confronts you with choice. You are free to step back. You are free to lean forward, and that freedom creates anxiety. Not because you want to jump, but because you realize you could. Psychologists refer to this as the high place phenomenon. Many people experience an intrusive thought like, what if I jumped? Importantly, this does not mean a desire for self-harm. Research shows it's actually linked to strong self-preservation instincts. The brain briefly checks the possibility, then reacts with fear to shut it down. Fear, in this case, is protection. People who are afraid of heights often score higher in harm avoidance, a temperament trait associated with caution, foresight, and risk awareness. These are not negative traits. They are traits that keep people alive. From a philosophical angle, fear of heights represents a confrontation with limits. Heights expose the boundary between control and chaos. On solid ground, the world feels stable. At a height, that stability becomes conditional. One slip changes everything. Existential philosophers argue that anxiety arises when we become aware of how much we cannot control. Heights strip away the illusion that life is predictable. That's why some people feel panic, while others feel awe. The difference isn't courage, it's interpretation. Some minds interpret height as threat. Others interpret it as perspective. Both reactions are deeply human. Psychology also shows that fear of heights is strongly linked to visual dependence, relying heavily on visual cues rather than bodily sensation to feel stable. When the ground feels far away, the visual system loses its anchor. The mind doesn't trust itself anymore. That loss of trust creates fear. But here's something important. Fear of heights is not irrational. It becomes a disorder only when it interferes with daily life, when avoidance becomes total, when anxiety appears even in safe situations. Otherwise, it's simply awareness sharpened by imagination. Philosophically, the fear of heights reflects a deeper truth. We are creatures caught between survival and meaning. We want to see far, we want perspective, we want to rise above, but rising always comes with risk. The mind knows this, so it hesitates, not because it wants to stop you, but because it wants you to survive the climb. And that's the paradox. The same brain that imagines falling is the one that made building skyscrapers possible. Fear doesn't oppose progress, it shapes it. Rails exist because fear exists. Safety exists because anxiety noticed danger first. So when someone says they're afraid of heights, what they're really saying is, my mind understands gravity. And that understanding is not weakness, it's intelligence refined by time. You don't overcome fear of heights by silencing the brain. You overcome it by teaching the brain that safety and height can coexist. And even then, a little fear remains, because some fears are not meant to disappear. They are meant to remind us that life is fragile, choices matter, and not every edge is meant to be crossed without respect. Fear of heights is not a failure of courage. It's a quiet awareness that being human means standing close to the edge and choosing carefully where to place your feet.